Welcome everybody to this video. I wanted to re-record it. I'd done a live on it. The video didn't turn out as well as I'd like to, but this time I'm going to do it for all of you on a re-recording, and I'm going to be talking about the job satisfaction cycle. I think there's a really important thing to think about anytime that you're in a job that you might get tired with, where you're getting bored, or in the case of like a friend of mine, you're starting a new job, right? And I believe that there are 5 phases to the job cycle. You know, there's phase 1. I'm going to go through all those phases, but just to give you a thing, phase 1, this is kind of the most exciting part. This is when you land a new job. So this is like new, right? And as I was talking to a friend of mine, this is where that idea kind of popped up. She had just left her job and started a new job. At the old job, she felt burnt out, tired, kind of reached the end of her rope there, I guess. You know, that's how we all feel. I think we all get to that place eventually. And then we go out and we start looking for jobs. Once we land that new job, however, this is where we start to create an amazing array of feelings, right? And it starts with exciting, right? We're all excited to start a new job. Number 2, these are and I'm going to just go into the 3 feelings that usually pull us out of burnout. And that's actually, I'm going to start with the end in mind. It's optimism, gratitude, and hope. And I'm going to come back to those at the end, but these are the 3 key ingredients to why we create energy, that creates energy for us. So for most of us, when we start feeling excited, we start to feel movement. Motivation comes from excitement. We become happy when we're excited. I don't see any excited people who are miserable, right? And when we start a new job, we have all of this optimism, right? Typically, it's something that we don't have right now, whether it's a new title, maybe a new environment, maybe just a new challenge, right? So that's where the optimism comes from. The gratitude, you might have gotten a raise. You know, maybe you're going to a place that's giving you more money. Typically, when you do change companies, you'll see about a 15% increase in your salary. That's something to be grateful for. And the last one's hope. None of us would go to a new job if we didn't feel hopeful that there was something better for us there, right? It's the prospect of something new. It's the prospect of our long-term goals being fulfilled. Those could be in the form of options, maybe leadership positions, maybe there's potential for growth, and maybe just a hope for an environment where you can thrive, where you can meet great people, where you can learn. So from phase 1, we move into phase 2. Okay? This is just like in a relationship, the honeymoon phase. Okay? This is where you show up, right? In this phase, you're proving yourself. You're proving yourself, right? This is probably where you're trying to work extra hard, extra effort. In this phase, you're challenging yourself. This is where I think the biggest challenges occur, and you're ready for this challenge, right? Some of the feelings you're going to feel during this honeymoon phase is you're going to continue feeling that excitement, but you're also going to feel nervous, right? You're going to question, am I providing value? Do they like me here? What do they think of me? And you're going to start doubting yourself a little bit as well, and there's going to be a little bit of imposter syndrome, right? That usually is what creeps in at this point. But all of that is overcome with that ultimate focus on the job, right? This is phase 2. Now, phase 2 can last anywhere from a day to, in my last, position that I was super excited about, it lasted for about 4 years, which is a really long time considering I was a chronic serial job hunter and job jumper, right? So for me to lasted 3 to 4 years in the honeymoon phase is huge. But as long as you're challenged and you're always putting in the extra effort, you're feeling excitement, you're feeling those nerves of trying to do better, you're focused. And I think this is the real key. You're focused on the work at hand. And that's where your brain is. It's in that phase. So you're putting all of your energy into yourself and proving yourself and putting your best foot forward. But then this leads us kind of down here to phase 3. Now, some people stay in phase 3 their entire careers. And I'm calling this one you find your groove. Right? This is kind of the harvesting period when you're in a job, right? You've earned the respect from your peers and your bosses, right? You have a rhythm to your job, right? You're seeing the results of all your hard work. And you're also probably getting the benefits. So now you're starting to see the benefits come out. Okay? And the last one is you're really optimizing your time here. Now this is kind of a sweet spot, right? I always call it the golden intersect. It's the maximum amount of time for the minimum amount of effort and responsibility and everything else. And this is really a happy phase for a lot of people, right? This is where now you're building really good relationships. Now you're, all of that work, all of that, this is the payoff. Here, phase 3 is where the payoff happens. Now, as we move along the cycle, some people stay here, but a lot of us move up into phase 4. Phase 4 is when reality sets in. In a relationship, this is kind of when you get to see whether or not this is the reality for the long term, right? So what are some of the feelings you feel when reality sets in? Well, I believe at this point, you start to feel your job's repetitive. Right? Repetitive. Another one, you're bored. You start to get bored, which leads us to reduced engagement. I know now a lot of people talk about quiet quitting. Quiet quitting is right here, phase 4. It's when you start to not see the payout on the horizon. It's when you start to erode hope and optimism, right? You might still have gratitude because you might still say, oh, I'm thankful I have a job. I'm really getting paid well. I really like my coworkers, my boss. But once you start to erode these two parts of the triangle, gratitude's going to fall eventually as well. So what happens here is now you have more time on your hands because you freed up your time. What happens when you have time in your hands? You get to think more, right? And you're going to fill your time up with something. Now, it could be office politics, right? It could be on what's missing. And then you start to focus on being unhappy. This all happens in phase 4. At phase 4, you are in burnout. You are burning out here because you're eroding the 3 ingredients to stay happy and healthy in your work. And that's optimism and hope. They're beginning to be eroded here. And then from phase 4, we move into phase 5. Phase 5. Guess what? This is you looking for a new job. So you're looking for something new. In this, you're actively disengaged. Right? You're looking elsewhere. Your attitude is poor, so you have a negative outlook. You're negative, right? You're basically in full decline. You have checked out. This is the phase where we start to erode all of that respect and goodwill we had back here. And at this place, you're either going to get fired or you're going to find a new job and you're going to jump to phase 1 and repeat this cycle all over again. Now, the challenge, I think for most people, excuse me, the challenge I believe for most people is how do you stay in phase 3, right? How do you avoid burnout? How do you avoid burnout to go to phase 4 and phase 5? Sometimes it's inevitable. This could just be the conclusion of a period of your career, but it could also be brought on by not seeking out new challenges and not identifying that you're moving into this phase when you are here. And that's where guidance, a good mentor, a good boss who can help guide you, or a coach can lead you through and reset from phase 4 into back into phase 3. Unfortunately, most people who make it to phase 5, they're done. They're done. They're either going to just live out in misery, get fired, or maybe find the energy to go find a new job so they can repeat it from the beginning. Now, next week, or I have a video that I'm going to link down here below. It goes to what can you do in phase 1 to set yourself up for success. But before you even get there, see if you can identify which phase of your career you're in at your job. If you're in phase 3, that's fantastic. Now's the perfect time to reach out and set up a plan going forward. If you're in phase 4 or 5, this is where you need help. And I would recommend, if you don't know which phase you're in, take my burnout quiz. The link is attached below. It'll take you straight to the burnout quiz. It'll help you establish where you are on this cycle. And if you're in phase 4 and 5, if you're in the high end of burnout, then you need to come and get help directly, right? It is fixable. This is totally fixable because it's all about how you view the job that you had and how you view your environment. So if you have any questions, drop them below, reach out to me. But again, first step is take the burnout quiz. And I'll talk to you all next time. Thanks.